What's up, everyone? ODC, that's me here, and today's review we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Monster Blaster APC. Monster Blaster, I just can't, the name's so funny. But this is, as you can see here, it's a really cool APC, and one of the, I would say, I don't know, forgotten vehicles of the mid-90s, early to mid-90s. This came out in 1993. There was a successor to it, which was actually the Apc Transport, which came out in 2004, and that was kind of in destro colors, as I like to refer to it. But that came out in 2004, and I think that was the last sighting, actually, for this vehicle's mold. And which is actually a shame, because I think this has a really nice mold, and this could have been something that they could have re-released. And really, when you look at it, what does it remind you of? Yes, that's right. It reminds you of the APC or transport that the colonial marines used in Aliens. So, but I still think that they could have repurposed this for a re-release in the 25th anniversary. They could have reused this in any of them. Really, Pursuit of Cobra could have came out with. Really, I mean, this is a forgot about gem. I feel like it really is a gem. And I mean, sure, are the colors a little wacky up here? It's kind of like got this like lime green, but that's what they were rolling with in the early to mid 90s, which kind of push people, some collectors and some enthusiasts, away from the G.I. Joe product at the time. But I still think it's not that bad. B, it's more of a darker, more subtle lime green, I guess, if you want to give it that title. It just looks really good. I love the sculpt on this, and I love that they have these side guns here, and you can mount someone over here on the side. The swivels are pretty tight, so I would suggest I don't suggest that you move the swivel by the gun. I suggest that you swivel it from the rotation point right here. Same thing goes for the other side. Don't use the gun, swivel it by the rotation point right there on the sides. Try not to use it, because I had this kind of pop off on me a few times. But these do want to rotate up a little bit, and that's about it. They're pretty much just kind of like a stationary point, and they can go out, they can go back, they can go forward a little bit if you need them to. Any way this guy wants to go, except for a full 360 rotation, you can pretty much accomplish. But the seat is facing outward, so when you put a figure in there, I'll show you what it all looks like with all the figures in. And then we have our front driver position right here. Taking a look at that, it looks pretty good. There's some good room in there, and I really do like the sculpt of the seat in there. There actually is some texturing going on with the back of that seat where the pads are for the whole seat. Looks pretty good. There's a joystick right there. None on that side. But over here on the gun portion, this gun can actually be used for two things here. You can actually have this covering the gunner right here, and kind of pretend that maybe there's some sort of video display that can view prompt into this, and he's firing from that. And I mean, these do kind of look like missiles right here, but I like to imagine that these are some sort of like laser weapon or something like that. But you can also rotate it down, and if you want, you can have the gun facing like this, and then have the driver in there and put his hands on the joysticks right there and have him fire manually. But the overall sculpt of this is really well done. It really does give that Colonial Marines vehicle transport vibe to it. You can blatantly see that's what I think they were going for here. The really cool other selling point to this is the fact that this has a huge cannon on it. That's what she said. But he can also, it's called an APC for a reason, so you can transport soldiers to and from battle. There are 3 seats on this side and 3 seats on the other side, and then 2 seats here. So 10 total on this vehicle. And then we have some pegs right here on the side, so you can have them also, maybe 1 foot on the step, the other foot pegged right here to a vintage figure, and then vice versa on the other sides as well. The cannon is really cool. You do actually have a sliding mechanism right here where you actually do have to rotate this down, but you can get this into, was it 1, 2, 3, 4 positions, and then including the regular position, which would be the 5th position. So here is the lowest one that you can have it on. And let me just pan out a little bit. Sorry about that. That's the lowest one you can have it on besides the neutral position. And then we have this, and then that, and then there's the final one. So really good range of motion with the cannon. It makes it believable. Also to note that I skipped over, sorry about that, there also are a plethora of pegs on the back here, and you can see joystick handles right here, which looks like they maybe are in charge of this gun, which would make the most sense when you think about it, because there are joysticks right here and some sort of control panel right there. And you can put 2 figures here, you can put 2 figures here if you wanted to, or just 1, 1, and 1. Whichever you want to do. But this thing really does haul more than you think it does. And I just really like the way that this thing looks. It looks fantastic. It really does. All of these stickers were actually on the vehicle when I purchased it. I actually purchased it from Big Boy Collectibles, so if you want to check that out, you can. He does have a plethora of vintage G.I. Joe figures, as you all know. And really cool guy, too. So the other cool thing about this vehicle set is the fact that it has it's very similar to the Thunderclap here. It's like almost like a miniature Thunderclap, which I think is pretty cool. And if you know the Thunderclap, you know that it has this kind of recoiling. You take a missile and you plop it in there, and then you pop it up like so, and then you press this button right here, which I'll actually lower this cannon down. You push this button that's right here, and then boom, comes flying out. I mean, how fantastic is that? I'm telling you, man, this vehicle really is a gem. It really is. It's one of those forgotten toys. The front headlights have stickers on them that you have to apply. We also have the G.I. Joe logos on each side of this, the Mega Marines on side of this, so you knew where they were headed with this already, with Mega Marines. We got the star right there, stay clear, number 7 right there. We've got some warning logos right here on the back, Mega Marines with their stamped vehicle identification. And then the same thing over here, and we have American flag, America, on the bottom. And let's just rotate that back really quick. And then next thing we're going to do, actually before I get to that, the vehicle also has rolling plastic wheels, so they're pretty much plastic. Underneath, it's pretty much just a hollowed out plastic mold, so there's no flat surfaces or anything like that. But I think it looks really good. I am a big fan of this vehicle. This might be entering one of my top 10 for vehicles. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm really digging it. So right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a second, and I'm gonna roll this out. Roll out. No, actually, I'm gonna pick it up and get it out of the way for a second because I want to show you guys some blueprints. And here are the blueprints to the Monster Blaster, in case anyone needs to know for purposes. Then we'll open it up. We'll take a look, see here what we have. This just basically tells you how to assemble the cannon piece and all of that, how to use the trigger, the missiles, how to load them. Then here's the sticker chart. You can pause all this if you need to. Hopefully I'm getting everything on here that I'm supposed to. Then flip it around to the other side. Then here we have the canopy pieces, the driver canopy, the top section connecting to the bottom section. So this came in a plethora of different pieces right here. So, okay, and now we have the box artwork right here on the side right here. Shows the Monster Blaster. Just a silly name for it, Monster Blaster, but you know what they referring to monsters is, to me at least, probably referring to, by monsters they mean aliens, but I mean that really is what I think they're saying here, at least to me. And then we have a bunch of figures depicted in here, a bunch of Joes hanging over here. Looks really good. They did a really good job. Alright, so right now we're going to take a break, and I'm going to load this APC up with as many modern figures as possible, and we'll see how it works. Okay, and we're back, and as you can see, I got this pretty much loaded up as much as possible. I did leave a couple seats open just because I didn't want to grab 10 million figures while I was doing this, but I mean, you can pretty much get the drift as far as what's going on here. We've got Gung Ho, which is actually on the larger male body. We've got Leatherneck here, and it kind of puts things in scale for you as far as the newer figures go. Obviously the vintage figures are going to fit on here a lot better because this is meant for vintage style figures. But we got Cross Country over here on the back, crankcase on this side, and these kind of don't sit down. You can kind of bend their legs a bit to get them to settle down on there, but you kind of have to work with it a little bit. See how he's sitting a little bit further down now? Looks a little bit better, but I think they were mainly meant to pretty much stand in this to give the illusion of them sitting down. So that's them standing, and obviously we have the driver in the front, and he fits in there. His head is a little bit covered, and that's Clutch in there. His head's covered, obviously, but, you know, use your imagination. Imagine that he's got maybe some video display to see where he's going besides just these vents here. That's what I always like to imagine. Also, here we have the gunner, obviously, and then here we have the big piece, which is the cannon and all of the display pieces inside. There we go. We've got Flint right here. We've got Steeler, which his helmet is coming off. And then we have a Marauders Task Force figure, which I actually wanted to show off. And I would say that this figure actually fits in better than the 25th anniversary figure does. With Steeler here. Let's see if I can kind of hunch down Steeler. There we go. That's a lot better. Now he's sitting in there. You really got to bend those knees to get these guys to sit in there. With Flint, the way that this is shaped, you really have to bend his knees as well. It's almost kind of like a straight point, half straight leg, half bend. And then these guys need a full bend in their knees to get them down. But once they're down, they are down, and you don't have to worry about it. With some of the newer modern figures like Law here. Let's see if I can get him. Oh, his knee pads are coming off. There we go. His vest got a little bit in the way, but not too bad. And then we'll shut that, and it shuts all the way, pretty much almost all the way. I think Flint's head's getting in the way a little bit. But as you can see, it shuts. It does shut with them in there, and I think this looks awesome. This looks absolutely fantastic. I am so glad that I picked this up. And this is a vehicle, I'll be honest with you, that even I forgot about. I actually had this. I think I had the 2004 version, the black and the Cobra one that actually came with 3 Cobra bats at the time, and I never had the privilege of owning the G.I. Joe version. So yeah, but this looks really awesome. I would definitely highly recommend picking this up. The sculpt, the ability to use modern figures in this as well, really, I think, steps up the 2 thumbs up for me with this. I would definitely highly recommend you pick this up. I think everything on this is really just well done, well thought out. Love the sculpt, like the paint. I even like the and this is pretty much just a plastic. There's not a whole lot of paint on here. The green is plastic. This other lime green kind of color is a plastic color. There's not a whole lot of paint in here, but this is a 90s style vehicle, and there wasn't a whole lot of paint on a lot of these vehicles. They were mostly just plastic colors put together, and that's what G.I. Joe is pretty much, the majority of it is all about. They don't use paint applications on vehicles, pretty much just plastic. So, but it rolls really well. It's nice. Let's see if Leatherneck will stay on there. So yeah, it even rolls with him not being pegged in there, so you don't even have to worry about the pegs being too big and him not being able to hold on. The last thing I want to show, as he falls off, of course, last point I want to show here, and I'll just grab him, is that you do have to cinch down or squat down a little bit for these more modern figures to grab onto the cannon controls on the back. But once they are gripped in, they're not going to go anywhere. I mean, that does look a little funky right there, but, you know, use your imagination here. So at least he's got a point to hold on to something. And you can put 3 more figures, or, you know, 2 more figures besides Cross Country on the back, which is nice. So lots of form and function here. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving this thing. And like I said, 2 thumbs up for the Monster Blaster APC. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.